From a surfside paradise to a jail cell.
After you kill Miss Wilson?
The woman accused of murdering a suspected romantic rival, now finally in custody. Kaitlin Armstrong had been on the run, eluding authorities for more than 6 weeks.
Kaitlin Armstrong, who was a fugitive from justice, fled not only Austin, but the United States, and changed her physical appearance.
In mid-May, U.S. Marshals issuing an arrest warrant for the murder of professional cyclist Moriah Wilson, alleging Armstrong killed her after flying into a jealous rage.
When I first heard the story of Kaitlin Armstrong, the first thing that came to mind was catch me if you can.
We're now learning how authorities say the yoga instructor managed to vanish, where she went to hide, how authorities tracked her down, and why she looks so different now. For nearly 2 months, the people who knew and loved Moriah Wilson have been stuck in limbo.
When I found out Mo died, I didn't believe it.
Christopher Kaiser had known Moriah Wilson through his work as a professional sports photographer.
I knew her as Mo. Everybody called her Mo. Mo was really a rising star. She definitely left a mark in her all too brief career. Everybody was excited to see Mo at the races because he knew something was going to happen.
He called the 25-year-old quiet, at least until you got to know her.
A bright flame was lost senselessly because of this violence.
Court documents allege Armstrong targeted Wilson because she thought the pro cyclist was involved with her boyfriend, Colin Strickland. Both Wilson and Strickland were elite professional cyclists. He posted photos and videos of himself on Instagram.
I focus on a very large dinner the night
And that's
before
him on a Flow Bikes promotional video.
I try to eat at least every half hour, if not every 20 minutes.
Here she is.
And for her part, Wilson was considered one of the best in her sport.
The winner of round 1.
Wilson's calm, confident nature on display.
Did do a little bit of a pre-ride earlier.
As she talks about her race strategy in this interview with Pure Gravel.
I come from a mountain biking background, so I feel confident that I'll be able to handle the gravel sections on that bike.
Good.
On the day she died, Strickland was one of the last people to see Wilson alive. He says his friendship with her was strictly platonic. He said they'd had a brief romantic relationship last year while he and Armstrong were broken up. And he says that after he and Armstrong reconciled, he and Wilson remained friends. After her death, Wilson's family issuing a statement, saying at the time of her death, those closest to her clearly understood directly from Moriah that she was not in a romantic relationship with anyone. In May, Wilson traveled from San Francisco to Austin to compete in an upcoming bike race, and there she met up with Strickland.
A lot of this case is not necessarily about the murder, but the cover-up and the evidence found afterwards.
On May 11th, Moriah Wilson was discovered shot to death at a friend's home in Austin, Texas. The next day, May 12th, officers brought in Armstrong for questioning. They confronted her with surveillance video of her vehicle, a Jeep Grand Cherokee, captured outside the apartment where Wilson was murdered. According to police, when detectives told Armstrong the video made things not look too good, she nodded her head up and down as if in agreement. That's when investigators say Armstrong asked to end the interview, and they weren't allowed to detain her because of a technicality. I went to that Austin neighborhood in May. Now, that's the camera that captured that Jeep Grand Cherokee driving up this alley. We talked to neighbors there who were shocked by the crime and that no one seemed to have heard the gunshots.
I've been here about a couple years, almost 2 years, and I've seen 2 police cars patrol this area.
Meaning it's that quiet, there's not much crime.
Right.
One day later, May 13th, Kaitlin Armstrong sold her Jeep to a local dealership for more than $12,000. Then, May 14th, she hopped on a series of flights, captured on camera at the Austin airport before flying to Houston, then New York's LaGuardia airport. On May 17th, a warrant was issued in Texas for Armstrong's arrest, but authorities were not even aware she had left the state. The next day, on May 18th, Armstrong went to Newark Liberty Airport in New Jersey. Then she seemingly vanished.
We love you, Katie, and we are going to figure this out.
In late May, Armstrong's father speaking exclusively with ABC News, saying he couldn't believe his daughter was capable of murder.
I know how she thinks, and I know what she believes, and I know that she just would not do something like this.
Armstrong has not commented publicly since his daughter's arrest. In early June, the U.S. Marshals upgraded the murder to a major case. And towards the end of the month, a tip came in, leading them to Costa Rica. Now, investigators revealing how Armstrong got there undetected by using a real passport to board an international flight. It just wasn't her passport.
The question becomes, how did she get that passport? Now, if she stole the passport from someone, the person she stole from is not going to be on the hook for any criminal charges. But if a person gave her that passport, that person could definitely face criminal charges.
The passport seen in these photos obtained by ABC News, both found in her locker at the hostel she was staying in. That hostel, located in the trendy beach town of Santa Teresa, advertises itself as a tropical paradise, white sandy beaches and yoga classes.
Aparentemente estaba buscando algunas alternativas o algunas posibilidades laborales en nuestro país.
Alonso Soto Chacon is with the immigration police in Costa Rica. He says that Armstrong may have tried to disappear among the many tourists in Costa Rica.
Sin embargo, yo creo que es el mismo error en el que caen muchas personas que al llegar a nuestro territorio tal vez no ven la gran posibilidad que tienen nuestras autoridades de ser un país pequeño de poder ubicar a cualquier persona que sea requerida.
Authorities say Armstrong did manage to evade the marshals for a bit longer.
It was discovered Armstrong used different names, aliases, under the alias of Beth Martin, Liz, and Ari Martin.
She also changed her appearance, cutting her hair and coloring it brown. Also found in her possession a receipt for plastic surgery under an alias.
I will say she had a bandage on her nose with a little bit of discoloration under her eyes. You know, her statement was that it came from a surfboard incident, and I think we'll leave it at that.
On June 29th, law enforcement finally catching up with her, with Costa Rican police detaining Armstrong. They drove her 6 hours back to San Jose, where authorities say she finally confessed to who she really was.
Prosecutors have many theories as to why someone is guilty. One of their favorite ones is consciousness of guilt, the actions that a defendant does after they've allegedly committed a crime. For Kaitlin Armstrong, that would go to fleeing Texas, fleeing New York. And the biggest one that the jury's probably going to be seeing if this does go to trial is her face. Her very face is going to be considered consciousness of guilt.
A major break tonight in a case making national headlines. A fugitive accused of murder in Texas arrested in Costa Rica.
We believe after this month-and-a-half investigation, she really got comfortable. She felt that she had gotten away. But I really was with the long arm of the law.
Colin Strickland, Armstrong's former boyfriend, releasing a statement yesterday saying, "I will continue to provide my full cooperation for the sake of the Wilson family as they, along with so many others who have been affected, endure the burden of this senseless tragedy."
Remember, you killed Miss Wilson? You know something? You killed Miss Wilson?
Last weekend, Armstrong was deported back to the U.S., footage showing her at the Houston airport. She now faces charges of first-degree murder and unlawful flight. While Wilson's family has largely stayed quiet, the long-awaited arrest has meant a small amount of relief for her friend, Christopher Kaiser.
You know, I have photos of her all around me because it's my most beautiful work. Like I said, she's so beautiful on the bike. She exudes so much life on the bike that it's hard not to be in love with her.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.